Hey everybody, welcome into Hoop Talks. I'm very excited to be joined today by Khristina Williams. She is the founder of Girls Talk Sports TV, a WNBA insider on the betting exchange. She's very much involved in the world of women's basketball. I kind of like to call her the Woj of the WNBA, but better because it is the WNBA and she does a really great job at being a newsbreaker. But Khristina, hi, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. Truly appreciate it.
Of
And
course.
thanks for
And
that intro. That intro was good.
I always love to intro my guests like that because I always love everybody that comes on the show with me. And you deserve a very nice intro. So we just had a very busy off season in the WNBA. I know you were busy. And as somebody who breaks news in this space, what was that like for you?
It's always a busy season whenever free agency comes around. I love all the hype around free agency. Like fans, they're loyal to their insiders. So you have people who follow me, Rachel or Howard for the breaking news. So I don't know. It's I get an adrenaline rush whenever that period comes around. But it's exciting that for women's sports that fans are tuning in when in the off season when free agency comes around. It shows that there's an interest and that people should invest in the coverage. So I absolutely love breaking the off season news. And then as a Black woman, it means something to me to be one of the only Black women in this space, in the W space, to be breaking that news in terms of representation. So I'm happy and grateful to be a part of that community.
Absolutely. And I feel like it is a great way to get more fans engaged in the off season and get even new fans because you have, especially in this off season where you had a couple of big blockbuster names make really big moves. I feel like that was a good way to attract a lot more attention and a lot more attention on the creators in the space that are working really hard, like you are. And then also, it was kind of around the same time that Athletes Unlimited was happening. I know you're a host with them. I wanted to ask you, I know you're super involved with them. What are some of the things that you think people should take away from that league as another league in addition to the WNBA?
Yeah, I mean, it was my second season with Athletes Unlimited, and this season I had the opportunity to host the Athletes Unlimited preview show alongside Savannah Collins. Shout out to Savannah. But yeah, I think that people can take away that this league is not in competition with the W. It's definitely a league that is complementary of the W, and it's an opportunity for athletes in the league, but also athletes outside of the league to just play basketball and grow the game in that way. I love the fantasy league aspect of Athletes Unlimited. And I also like how much the league invests in its players in terms of giving them a voice. The player committee with Tosh Cloud, Ty Young, Lexi Brown, Kirby Burkholder, all those women, like the players have a voice in that league, and you know they facilitate a lot of stuff on the business end and on and off the court. And so I like that aspect of it. I love that they play for charity. Uh, they have top tier staff, and in terms of game day presentation and entertainment, is top tier as well. But from a creator standpoint, I also like that they collaborate and invest in creators of color. That's like my heart in terms of growing the game and providing opportunities for all people. And so I like that Athletes Unlimited, they really do that in this league. And just watching the game grow here in the United States and giving women that opportunity to continue to play the game that they love. And so if you haven't watched AU Hoops, I'm pretty sure you can go on YouTube and catch some of the games from this past year and also from last year. But yeah, it's a top tier league, and I'm excited to see that league continue to grow.
Yeah, and it's also really nice because I think some games got broadcasted on League Pass this year too, which
Yes,
was
yes.
really nice because that kind of shows that it's more of like a like you said, like it's not a competition, like we are working together. So it's always really nice to have more women's basketball on whenever you can catch it. But let's
Absolutely.
move to the upcoming WNBA season. You've been at the New York Liberty training camp, I think pretty much like every single day this week. I've loved seeing your coverage. I'm sure that's been very busy. What have the vibes been like at camp?
The vibes at camp here in New York City has definitely been great. Yesterday was the first time actually that all of the players were present at camp at once. The first thing that I noticed on Monday when I attended camp was that One, Courtney Vandersloot was under concussion protocols. She had a collision in a scrimmage during that game, during training camp on Monday, sorry. And she is now on concussion protocols. And then Stewie was still getting cleared. And then Epiphany Prince, she missed a few days because she was recovering from an illness. And so it was great to see all of the players in camp yesterday, to get to speak to them, to talk about their off seasons. And you're just seeing the leadership and the growth of some of the returning players as well. I had an opportunity to talk to Sabrina, and she told me that she was in the gym 5 days a week from the end of last season until training camp, just
Wow.
working on her game and just wanting to get better, just realizing, some of her weaknesses and just wanted to get better defensively. And I talked to Coach Sandy, and she told me that, going into next season, she really wants the Liberty to focus on the defensive end. She talked about how she wants to build that identity within this group of players, and, preached high on Kayla Thornton, Benijah Laney, Dee Dee Richards, some of those defensive players for the Liberty, were saying, we're going to be a great offensive team. We understand that the pressure is on us to win. And so that was just the move. Like, everyone is on the same page, from the players to the coaching staff to the GMs at camp, and just wanting to get better on both ends of the ball, but especially on defense. And so I'm excited for the Liberty this season, and what's to come.
Yeah, I really like that because we do know that this Liberty squad can score in many different ways with the players that they've assembled together. So it's going to be really about being complete on the defensive side as well. And we do have like former defensive players of the year on the squad now, and like you mentioned, Kayla Thornton, Benijah Laney, all these players can play really good defense. I'm wondering because I saw yesterday Miles, Ehrlich posted that Didi was, like, running around, like, taking
Yes.
photos of everyone, and she was like, "Add me to the media list." I'm wondering, like, what kind of fun things have you seen like that in camp so far?
Yeah, so that was just one of the things that was happening. Dee Dee is such a personality. They gave her a camera yesterday to do some behind the scenes day in the life footage. So she was doing her thing on the blogging end, and she really loved it. And another thing, Kayla Thornton, some of the anecdotes that I've seen through camp is she has nicknames for all of her teammates, and so she's like, I'm still learning the names, but she said she calls Morgan Green Lakeisha because she's like, she just looks like a Lakeisha. And it's just like so fun to see them try to build chemistry in that way as they're getting to know one another. And so it's just great vibes, great energy. Sika Kone, she's here in the United States. Her eyes lit up when I was asking her about some of her role models growing up. And she spoke highly of being able to play with Jonquel Jones, someone she watched on YouTube, and just throughout her time overseas playing, and how she's excited just to be in this league. She told me that she looked up to Candace Parker as well. So just hearing those stories, Epiphany Prince, she's from New York City. I'm from New York City, so I was like, welcome back home. Like, New York legend Epiphany Prince had a storied high school career, college career, now back in New York City, playing in her hometown in Brooklyn. And so she just talked about, just that being here at this level of her career, just being excited to be back home. So you're hearing great stories from camp, and just, they're building the team chemistry from the ground up. And it's a lot of fun just to sit and observe and watch them as they go.
Absolutely. I joined one of the Liberty Zoom medias this week with, Benijah and Kayla Thornton, and it feels like those 2 are gonna be really good friends just based
Oh,
on the
yeah.
vibes from that call. Because I asked Benijah, I was like, "Look, like, you're the vet on this team now. Are you gonna do any, like, New York activities with the newbies?" And she kinda just went, "Are you trying to come?" It was very
I love
and she
that she invited you.
I know, it totally threw me off guard. I was like, "What? Me? What?"
But
But yeah,
lots of great vibes in the
yeah,
city.
and then
So.
her and Kayla just started, like, giggling with each other, so it was a great vibes for sure. Um, my second last question, who are some players that you think deserve some extra love going into the season? Because obviously we're gonna get coverage of, like, some of the bigger stars, but is there anybody that's, like, maybe flying under the radar a little bit that you think we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I spent so much time in February and March in Dallas, participating in AU and just getting to see some of those players play. One player that's at the top of mind is Crystal Bradford. We haven't seen her play in about a year. She missed last season due to an injury, and now she's back with the Los Angeles Sparks, and she's in training camp fighting for a roster spot. But what I saw at AU really just got me excited to want to see her in the WNBA. She's a great two-way player. She kind of does everything on the floor that other people wouldn't do, the things that you don't really see. And so I'm excited to see her just come back and just get a footing into the WNBA should she make the final roster in LA. Alicia Gray is someone I'm also excited to see, another AU rookie this season. She played a lot with Nas Hillman in AU, so they've already got a jump start in terms of building that team chemistry. But I'm excited to see
Mhm.
her play again because she was on the cusp of being an all-star last year. And so I feel like coming back into the league this season, especially on a new team, she probably feels like she has a chip on her shoulder. I know she said one of her goals is to get better on the defensive end, and it's like, you're already great on defense. How can you be? But yeah, I'm excited to see her play. She averaged 13 points, four rebounds last season, and I think that she's going to make an immediate impact on this young core that's forming in Atlanta. I'm excited to see how she fits in with Ryan Howard, Cheyenne Parker, Ari McDonald, like all of those players. I really like what Atlanta is doing, especially with how they drafted this year with getting Haley Jones and Letitia. So I'm super excited to see, just all the pieces come together as the season approaches. And then if I had to choose a sleeper team, which is not really a sleeper team, but no one is talking about the Washington Mystics as a whole. And I really like what Tebow's put together in terms of, um, you know, trading the draft pick and getting some future draft picks, just to think about the future. Elena Della on his back, and rumor has it that she's feeling better than ever. She's feeling like her old self, and we know when EDD is healthy, she's in her bag. And so excited
Yeah.
to see her and just all of the new additions. I mean, the Mystics are the top defensive team, and we know that they had to address like the shooting issues. And I think that they somewhat did that. And obviously, players will have to step up, but I think that they can really be the underdogs to win. I know everyone's like, it's the Aces or Liberty, no one else, but
Mhm.
keep your eyes on the Mystics as they come in 2023 and try to repeat winning a championship.
That EDD and Shakira Austin front court, I
Yes,
mean,
exactly. And they just acquired Emily Engstler,
yes,
named
yeah.
her off her waivers, and so she adds another great piece when we talk about great defensive players or players that can help off the bench. I mean, the Mystics are right there, and no one is talking about them. And I mean, it's mind-boggling how people were counting them out, and they have Elena Delle Donne. That's number one.
Maybe they
Um,
like that. Maybe they're like, "Okay, let me fly under the radar so we can, like, shock everybody."
Right, and then you add Brittany Sykes, one of the best
Yeah.
defensive players, Amanda Zawiby, who's going to be a great center off the bench, who's versatile, who can shoot threes. Like, why are you guys not talking about the Mystics? And just like they have depth, and so I think that people need to pay attention to them.
Absolutely. I know I'm excited. I can tell you're excited.
Like,
But
I just don't get it.
yeah, don't worry. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them. But lastly, what can we expect to see from you and your work for this upcoming season?
Lots of exciting work coming up. First, if you're not following Girls Talk Sports TV on Twitter or Instagram, make sure you do that. This season, I will continue to rotate on MSG networks across their sports betting program, so you can watch the Betting Exchange and the Better Half Hour this summer. I'll be contributing on there and just many other shows. I'm on SNY TV, the New York Post. I'll be giving you all the scoop from New York, the New York Liberty, and training camp, and doing season previews. So I'm all over the place, but make sure you follow all of those things. And I'll do my best to keep you updated.
Awesome. Guy Christina, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll make sure everybody has the info to follow you and your work because you're probably one of my favorite creators in this space, one of the most important voices in the WNBA and women's basketball. So thank you so much for joining me again on Hoop Talks.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. That means so much coming from you, and continue to do great work. You're killing it.
Thank you. All right, guys, we will see you next week on Hoop Talks.